up, family? This is Lesson 7 of the Course of African Philosophy, also known as Message to the People by Marcus Garvey. Lesson 7 is on character. I am Onitaset Kumat, the author of the Book of Power, the Pro-Black Compendium, and Zubiri, as well as the Pan-African Wisdom series. And this is the pro-black perspective on KWAZ Radio. So today we're going to go over Lesson 7, Character, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Men and women who want to be of use to themselves and humanity must have good character. Good character means a demonstration of the kind of behavior that meets the moral precepts of a civilization. Now here's civilization. Well, let's keep going actually. The standard that is laid down by the society of the time in which you live and which forms a part of and guides that very character. So this is very important. Civilization has multiple definitions. Alright? The definition that you want to associate yourself with is the one in the Book of Power. In the Book of Power, when we talk about civilization, we talk about re-institutionalizing or institutionalizing Ma'at and that code. And this is very important because this is the difference between Western civilizations and African civilizations. Western civilizations more or less codify what you call state repression, state oppression, exploitation. In our terms, it would be SFET, right? African civilization is about ma'at, reciprocity. And again, like I said, one of the best resources you can get on ma'at will be in the Book of Power. And not just the Book of Power, but the preview to the Book of Power, which is free of charge and anyone can get it. All you need to do is, either find one of these links that touch on the preview, or you can come to the Discord and the PDF is available right away. But let's keep going. So this is actually a fundamental consideration regarding whether what good character entails, and this is kind of where we in the modern self may deviate and diverge from Garvey, but you're going to see how. So if you do not live up to those standards in the highest sense, you will not be respected by that society. Your mission in the society for useful work will fall to pieces. And this is very important. Every society has its moral codes. The only issue is that if you're in the wrong society, if you're in an immoral society, their moral codes are towards your undoing. You understand? I'm going to talk about status quos very briefly, but I'm going to do it presently. So it's not going to be right now. Okay, but let's keep going. The greatest prop to character is honesty. Now this is agreeable, very agreeable. Honesty is the best policy. Let no one believe that you are dishonest. If they believe you are dishonest, you are doomed. You will never be able to rise to a position of respect and trust except by some mere accident. You must live so clean that everyone can see the cleanliness of your life. And this is so important because let's contrast this. So again, one of the resources I want from you, I want you to indulge in these books. When you indulge in these books, what you're going to find is that this idea of warfare is central to Pan-African nationalism. It's very central, and misunderstanding this centrality is one of the issues in regards to our being. But essentially, let's go to this character. He's a Eurasian by the name of Sun Tzu, and he says all warfare is based off of deception. Okay, all warfare is based off of deception. Now, Garvey is letting you know. The Garvey is saying, "Hey, be honest." Right now, the Eurasian engages in warfare by being deceptive, by being dishonest, and not just that. He understands that if he makes you right here, I pointed at I pointed at it. If they believe you are dishonest, so the Eurasian can make it so that you seem dishonest. Like, a part of his war effort is to make you seem dishonest. And one of the things you'll pick up on, particularly if you go into the Book of Power, because I have one of the older lectures, one of the older videos on the pro-black perspective, here on YouTube, is like rewritten in the Book of Power. So one of my favorite lectures that I've done is I think it was PB's P number 3, and that's the one on how we shouldn't use the term racism. And there I actually go into Sun Tzu and all that stuff, but and like war and all that. So I rewrote it into the Book of Power, with less stuttering, because I kind of stutter, right? So if they believe you are dishonest, another thing I did inside of that essay was that I think it was in that one, but it could have been in a future one, that was also rewritten into the Book of Power. But one thing I did was I showed you how Garvey was written about in the history books that I had as a child. And in the history books that I had as a child, they would accuse him of stealing money, of being a foreigner who came here and solicited a bunch of money and kind of used it for his own private gain. Essentially, even though they might not have assigned me those pages, it was like a paragraph. Even though they might not have assigned me those pages, the purpose of that page was to say, oh, well, this is a dishonest guy. Even if you were to find out somehow to look into him, to check back with us and we'll tell you, oh, he's a dishonest person. So, and that's part of the reason why that's part of the reason why there was even that lawsuit against him. The lawsuit essentially was saying, well, it says mail fraud. Mail fraud basically means, oh, you're dishonest. So that's the whole premise. And that kind of touches back onto this idea of warfare. So warfare is actually central to good character. Good war, in like I said, in the book Power, we talk about being Medu Nefer. Medu Nefer being like true of voice. No, good of voice. Good voice. No, beautiful. like just being a good person, right? Just being a good person. The thing here is what entails being a good person. And so when I articulate it, I would say good words, good war, good works, and good was. Was being power. Okay? So that's the 4 W's. You good war is what is instrumental to good character. And here Garvey is saying, honesty. Now, honesty does not necessarily work in a war setting. Or better even, do not believe everything you hear. Particularly when it comes to the Eurasian, the enemy. And that's like pretty much what I want to say on the terms of honesty. Like, honesty is beautiful. It is wonderful, but you don't want to take honesty to the point of being naive. And that's something that I want you to understand. So let's keep going. You'll never be able to rise to a position of respect and trust except by some mere accident. You must live so clean that everyone can see the cleanliness of your life. Never let people believe that you are a liar, but the contrary. Let them believe that you always speak the truth and live up to it. And again, this is for your own people. This is for your own people. Okay? Any conduct that your community or society condemns, be careful not to violate that rule or law, because you will lose the respect of your community. So this one is a very interesting passage. In this passage, this is where I would talk about the status quo. So one thing you have to realize is that most everybody is fighting to maintain a status quo. One of the quotes I was supposed to look up for you is by Amilcar Cabral. Okay? Amilcar Cabral. It's in the I'm gonna actually find it pretty quickly, because like I said, if you have the pro-black compendium, which you should, if you have it, I'm gonna tell you what page to turn to, and then we can read that together. So this right here is going to be on page 25. So page 25 under ecology, it's like the second to the last. It says, always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for the things in anyone's heads. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children. If you violate the rules or laws, you're violating what they are fighting for. And what they're fighting for, again, is material benefits, to live better and to live in peace. They're not fighting for the ideas in your head. So the circumstance that we are familiar with, or we can be familiar with, is, let's say, rioting as a collective response to, or rioting as a response to, violence against us. And this is a really important thing to say. It's in regards to, you'll lose the respect of your community, in so much as the question becomes, well, what happens if you destroy their access to essential goods? What happens if you destroy, if the grocery store, for instance, packs up and closes its doors, or in a more realistic sense, that grocery store is broken into and cleared out. Everything expires, everything spoils, whatever. What then happens to the people who are in that community, who no longer have access to groceries? Or what happens if they're stigmatized to the point where other communities attack them on site? And this is what we have. There's this video circulating, and again, it's on my Discord. So join the Discord if you want to see more. If you want me to, if you want, everyone's kind of, well, quite a few people are putting together like the narrative going on in this world. So in the Discord, I put up a video of this Latino man who's he's a gangbanger, self-described gangbanger, and he's saying, "Look, I'm going to prevent any black people from going through my community, regardless of their intention." So he explicitly says, even if your mother is hungry, even if your mother is starving, and she's hungry and she wants to get to the grocery store within my community, or like through my community, the other side of my community, I will shoot her on sight. I don't care if she's hungry; she can starve. Even if even if a woman wants a tampon, she will be shot on sight. And some people may say, well, that's outrageous, But again, if and I mean, I wouldn't defend them, obviously. But what I'm saying is that this is what it comes to, in the sense of, are people going to sit by? Are normal people going to sit by for the ideas in your head regarding the destruction of their community? You understand? Is everyone just going to sit by? And the answer is no. Amilcar Cabral told you, no, they would not sit by. And or I mean, some would, some wouldn't. Gangbangers are organized, organized violence. So are they going to sit by and say, yeah, trash up my grocery store, or go to my community and whatever? No. And so there's quite a few videos of them actively attacking black people, in Chicago. So again, you want to go onto the Discord, and this is just current events. I don't usually talk about current events, but this is pretty big. It's not. I mean, it's like I talked about coronavirus. Like coronavirus, this is like a weird year. Excuse me for this year. For those who are listening in the future, this was just a really different year compared to let's say 2018 or something. But let's keep going. So I was just saying that a lot of people are fighting for the status quo, because the status quo is what and where we are. Like what maintains our livelihood. So our livelihood, of us being able to go to the grocery store every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, however frequently you do it because of the status quo. If the status quo is broken or violated, then that's a whole other. Then you suddenly have a different livelihood, and that different livelihood is not something that people tend to adjust to, particularly if it's not necessarily better for them. And this is something that we have to understand, particularly as Pan-African nationalists with a mindset for warfare, because what you have to understand is that you will, guaranteed you will have, you will get yourself involved in warfare. You understand? Like, you will. It's almost a guarantee, because no matter what you do, because our intention, our ambition, is a Pan-African nation, a nation on the continent of Africa that does that we can materially benefit from. You know, we as an African people, as a Pan-African people. So we, not as a diaspora, not as a continental, not as a, you know, whatever nation we may claim, but we as just African people can come together in one, and at least one land, right? And have, you know, wealth, and engage in great trade and all that. You know, and this could be done peaceably. But even if it's done peaceably, listen to me, even if it's done peaceably, chances are that there will be war. Because you're going to, something is going to be offended. Something is going to think that you have disrupted their status quo. And because of that, there could be warfare. It's a 9 out of 10 chance. And the example I would give, because this is really something that, you know, we have to think long term. And the example I would give, even if you were to peaceably get some land, you know, let's say, you know, we all come together and we say, hey, whatever government, we want to buy this land and we want to govern it, you know, for ourselves. And they say, yeah, sure, you can buy this land, govern it, you know, and you know, let's say you pay taxes and whatever, blah blah blah, right? We go into this land, right? We find some great resource. We you know, we build up these industries, right? We become competitive, okay, with other people in these industries, let's say, right? Or even that we begin to engage in trade, such that we're trade, like wealth is concentrated where we are, right? And of course our borders are open. We want other people in here, sure, and that's what makes it a beautiful Pan-African nation. However, there are going to be some people who are saying, let's say we're in the textile industry. There are going to be other textiles people who say, hey, wait a second, they are disrupting my livelihood. You understand? Like no matter what you do, if you want to stake a place in this world, even if you do it so peaceably, someone else is going to come after you. And suppose you say, hey, look, our nation is so large, it's so grand, we want more land. You know, we want to expand. We want to co-opt a whole other nation, right? Will the leadership of that other nation say, yeah, sure, I mean, you're managing yourself well? Possibly. Possibly not. Brother Omawale had a panel. No, I keep saying this. He had a panel, but before the panel, there was a fireside chat with Molefe Asante. And Molefe Asante was telling the story of him going to this conference that was open to almost open exclusively to continental leaders. Now he was invited. He's from the diaspora. He was the only person from the diaspora there, right? And he observed that they were discussing what's known as the United States of Africa. Now, United Africa is a better name, but still, United States of Africa. And obviously, I wouldn't use that name. I go by Ankobia, but you know, whatever. I'm just giving you context. They're discussing the United States of Africa, and only one leader of all the leaders that showed said, there's a leader of Senegal. He said, I would gladly become the governor of Senegal for the United States of Africa. But every other leader that was there said, nah, I'm not going to give up my sovereignty, right? Because again, that's the violation of the rule or law or the status quo. You understand? The status quo is that, hey, look, I'm the president of this land, and you know, I love it this way. You know what I mean? I love it this way. You know, we wrote our own laws, we did all so on and so forth. this whole United States of Africa or United Africa or whatever would violate that rule of law that was written. So the reality is that no matter what you do, you have to prepare for war. You understand? You can't get the respect of everybody. You can't get the respect of everybody. Now, this is more in the long term. Now, when Garvey was discussing this, there's two ways to look at it. When you're in the minority, when you're the powerless minority or the powerless majority, if you will, right? But when like even in the situation of black power, of you, like in the situation of you being the minority in a white nation, yes, you definitely you're violating their rule, you're violating their status quo. They won't like it. But even in the situation of you being in a powerful black nation, if you're violating their status quo, you're breaking their laws, you're flourish, you're still going to be punished and condemned. You understand? So the question is, as a citizen, yes, the demand on you is to essentially, follow the rules, the law. The only question is, are those rules and laws something that you would want? Like, are they African civilization or are they Eurasian civilization? And that right there is key. Well, let's keep going. So never borrow money unless you intend to pay it back. Pay it back as quickly as you can. If you give excuses when you should be paying, those you are obligated to will think you are a trickster. Even though you subsequently pay them, they will be loath to trust you a second time. Even if you have to make sacrifices, pay your debt, because when you don't pay your debts, people talk about it, and sooner or later, everybody in the community knows about it, and you are ruined. This is like, sure, this is like, I'll tell you, but sometimes, like, I'm not a rich person by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes I do like loan out money, if you will, and I tell you, like collecting money is like collecting teeth. It's like collecting teeth. People, like, and I mean, like, I've lost my character a few times in regards to like people who owe me money. It's like don't borrow money. I don't borrow money. I do not borrow money. I don't need to borrow money, obviously, but I do not borrow money. And it's like, if you do borrow money, just pay it back. Like, make it your priority to pay it back. And if you can't pay it back, and then just don't borrow it. It's just don't. Like, stop, because what money is an emotional thing. I don't know if you picked up on that. Money is an emotional thing. What up? What up? I'm gonna say what up. What up? I like saying that. That's gonna be in the text. So anybody want to text me? Feel free. All right. But money's an emotional thing in the sense that it's set. Oftentimes, the dissolution of a relationship, whether romantic, whether intimate or non-intimate, like just normal, economic, anything. Oftentimes, that dissolution centers around money. You understand? Centers around money, or particularly somebody, or sometimes, for instance, somebody might be financially destitute, and they might, whatever. But a lot of, like, they might just be bad company, bad to be in a relationship with. But yeah, it's like, money is a very emotional entity. Some people will reason, oh, we should do away with money. That's an interesting idea. What that means has yet to be seen. I mean, if you're talking about a barter economy, I don't, like, again, if you engage history, or our story, when you engage our story, you'll see that we had checks and so on and so forth. Like, we had money, so it's not to say that, a world, like, money is the issue or the trouble as much as Eurasians are. It's like they said, it's not this, or like, yeah, I'm not even going to go into that. But let's keep going. It is a good policy to keep a good and honorable name. It is good credit. People will trust you on a good name. They will ask for the cash right on the spot and count it to the last farthing if your name is bad. People who trust you will almost take money from you without counting it. When you have lost that much confidence, you are a marked object, and you may as well move from that town or city or community to start life afresh somewhere else where nobody knows you, where you may practice the higher principles and retrieve your name. Never move into a nearby or adjoining community if you have lost your name. In the first place, go far away from it. No leader who is dishonest can hold his leadership. Nobody will follow him. Let your good character shine so that men will see it and talk about it. So this is very important to realize that, and I probably contextualized that when I was talking about this. Garvey is talking about, Marcus Garvey, Baba Garvey, is talking about how he's addressing future leaders. He's addressing leaders. So he's saying, as a leader, be careful not to violate the rules of law. Be careful not to violate the status quo, because you're trying to obtain the respect of the community. So leadership is local. It's on a community level, more or less, for the most part, until you are like a national leader like he is. But generally speaking, you want to be respected in your community. The idea of you being a leader, as well as violating the laws and rules, and disrupting the status quo that maintains the livelihood of other people, that right there is not great. But I want to bring it to a wider context. I'm trying to bring it to a wider context in the sense of, when we discuss warfare in a general sense, and like the obligation and ambition of you being a Pan-African nationalist, that you will be in violation of some rule of law. Now, you don't want to be in violation of your own community, but you will be in violation of some community. Because the reality is that communities are themselves competing for the same resources, competing for the same trade deals. Said differently, if I'm in one community, if I'm in community A, community B has a lot of something that I want, and community C also wants what's in community B. The reality is that if I'm, or let's say community B and C had a relationship where they were trading, a finite resource in community B. I then say, hey, community B, I want some of that resource, right? Community B now is sharing with community C and me those resources. Now, community C experiences a deficit in those resources. Now, what if that resource is something essential? What if that resource is water? Right? Community C is now receiving less water. You understand? Now, does community C now is looking at my community A, as, oh, hold up, we don't like you here. Let's say if somebody from my community A is walking around community C, and we're just pouring water on our face. We're pouring libations. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just pouring libations, which is honest and honorable, and it's a beautiful thing. But if community C is like experiencing a destitution of water, they're not gonna like us. I'm like, wait a second, you get all this water and you just pouring it? Maybe they might, understand. Although the thing is this, truthfully, I wouldn't count on it. Like, I wouldn't count on it. I'd hope so, but I wouldn't count on it. But let's keep going. Character. Yeah, look, character, that's something that, character, when I think about it, never move into a neighborhood with a neighboring community and you have lost your name. In the first place, go far away from it. No leader who's dishonest can hold his leadership. Nobody will follow him. Let your good character shine so that men will see it and talk about it. And this is what I can say for me is that, people talk about my good character all the time, right? Or at least you should. Alright, let's get going. Morality is upheld everywhere in civilization. Don't be immoral in your community. See what I'm saying? So there's the specific. Don't be immoral in your community. Somebody will tell on you and expose you, and the homes of the community will be closed against you, and respectable people will shun you. If you have to be immoral because your nature is weak, then hide it. Keep it within closed doors and be sure nobody knows about it. And this is something that a lot of people don't even understand. I tell you, the things that I see people doing, and I'm just like, really, you couldn't hide that behind closed doors? I get the most interesting messages. Okay, I get the most interesting messages from people, and there are like public, like there's shameless public displays of immorality by people that that people that I'm familiar with. Let's just say that. And let's keep going. If you read good books and think loftily, you will not be immoral. Look, read that again. If you read good books and think loftily, you will not be immoral. If you are intelligent, you will not be immoral, because immorality leads to disease, pain, suffering, and ultimately to premature death. Premature death. So, you know, this is what I love. Okay, I love this. You know, I mean, I love the fact that, you know, the ancestors blessed me with intelligence. Okay, they blessed me with intelligence. I do not stress. Like, I mean, I'll admit that sometimes I do get a little stressed, but I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to work on being stressed, but I don't really stress immorality, because these people, they're just gonna get disease, pain, suffering, premature death. I, on the other hand, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be immortal, right? I mean, obviously, I'm going to pass soon. I mean, not soon, but maybe, I don't know. But obviously, I'm going to pass someday. But the reality is that, like, I feel good. You know, I feel great. I'm doing, like, I'm not just reading good books. I'm writing good books. Okay? I'm not just, you know, not being immoral. I'm writing on morality. You know, this makes it so that I'm good. Like, I feel like I'm not stressing. I'm not like, I gotta, like, sometimes I do stress. I'm still human. But this is what like, this is why it's like there was this thing, there's this magnet that my mother had on her fridge at one point, and it was something around the lines of I'm too blessed to be stressed, or something like that. You know, too blessed to be stressed, and that's how I need to keep living my life, because, you know, as long as everyone's buying these books and getting this intelligence, and we are going towards nations of Ma'at once again. You know, nations of Ma'at that are financing global, like black. You could even say supremacy, but black power, right? As long as we have those nations, you know, let's say I pass on this earth before that happens. You know, I come back, and what do I have waiting for me? Good books and a great nation. You understand? Like, and so, like, I don't need to stress. Sometimes I do stress. I'm not gonna say I don't. You know, but this is what it's about. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna give you guys the ad for the good book. And hopefully it's going to hype me up a little, because you know it always does. But this is going to be Change the Leaders and Lead the Changers by our favorite musician. Alright, maybe not our favorite, but let's say, my favorite rapper, right? Okay, so I know books, alright? So let me tell you about a book. Alright, check it. So the goal and objective is to be selective, electing for knowledge with the black directive, checking sources, heritage, and legacies, with the brilliance to defeat our nemesis. The book of power, so aptly named, esteemed and famed for informing the brain, and doing the same as the ancestors before us. Sankofa, that's the life chorus. Wisdom is the key against dangers. Either change the leaders or lead the changes. We are doing Africa with no strangers. Do you hear us? Okay, hold on. We can't continue to beat the second fiddle. African power is the end of this riddle. Let's build a nation, the lights which never existed. The motto heretofore, we persisted. Better, we resisted. Best, we building. We'll raise the roof and break through the ceiling. Peeling away the change we were given to stop just surviving, start thriving and living. Africa's about to host superpowers. China and US back up in time hours. No one can be free without freeing themselves. But freedom is shown and owned on bookshelves. The book of power, a key for liberation. There's no domination where there's education, because ignorance is
man's main weakness. All of exploited the street don't teach this. Send the pages of sages, kings and queens. Akapong, Delaney, Dessalines, Niede, Garvey, and Zinga, and Cooks. 500 pages, surpassing most books. The task is told to bring up a continent. You will hold the tone for the confident. Have some pride and push forward your chest. Your leaders by reading one of the best. The book and science covers violence, self-reliance, and does away with silence. The time has come for the work to get done
and build up a land that'll be second to none.
We'll organize, technologize, strategize a new Africa before our eyes, and blackness will be the complexion we see. Anytime we envision what it means to be free. So come join minds, read what is written. Here be solutions, no longer hidden. Nothing works in theory, all that works, works and works. So it's time to put ourselves first. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Book of Power. So the Book of Power can be purchased on Amazon. Just click on the link below. Alright? Send me on tap. Tulende ma'a, tushinde is fair. Tulende ma'a, tushinde is fair. Tulende ma'a, tushinde is fair. Hotep.
Alright, and we're back. Alright, so let's keep going. So, and a moral person cannot find good company because no good person wants to take the chance with immorality. You know, this is like, see, my thing is that's like, I'm a good person, so I sometimes do, like, I do the wrong thing, and this is the basic. Look, an immoral person is an Ascari, okay? The good person is the Ancobia. The reality is that the Ascari and the Ancobia cannot hang out, and if they do hang out, they don't hang out for long. And this is like a testament to my life. You know how many Ascari? I mean, I'm not saying that everybody that I've engaged with, whatever. No, but I've engaged with quite a few Ascari, and it always ends the same way. Well, yeah, more or less. You know what I mean? Like I don't click with them. I don't click with them. I mean, I think I know one Ascari now, and like only like we don't click on any, like we don't really meet, you know what I'm saying? But I do convert. Like I'm not gonna say I don't know any Ascari, but you know, like I let them know what you're doing is wrong. But anyway, yeah, those who cater to your morality must be people who have no character and who have nothing to lose. They must be either sick or diseased themselves and therefore don't care. I can tell you guys about this one psychopath. I got a psychopath. You'll see it. Like you'll notice it. There's a psychopath like straight up stalking me at this moment. I almost don't even care to, what was it? Really like you'll see the person show up in YouTube comments sometimes, among other things. But like that's the world we live in. Some people are sick, diseased, immoral, Ascari, and that's just the world. You can't do much about it. I mean, you could do much about it, but it's like it's so beneath you that you just kind of like whatever. You know, I'm. It's about giving these lessons. It's about publishing these books. It's about passing on good, substantive work. You know, a lot of people, what you'll notice about the Sky is that they don't really have work. They don't have work, but they can somehow critique yours. You know, they want to somehow critique yours. And it's just, this is the world we live in. You know, it's the world of, basically, they are not good company. And, you know, if you take the chance, you know, like there are consequences for taking a chance on an Ascari. And, you know, like I said, I got cyber stalker, psychopath, full on psychopath, because, you know, I made the error of taking a chance on an Ascari. But anyway, let's keep going. No respectable woman or man who cares about his or her future is going to be indiscriminate, because that is taking chances. You see what I'm saying? Like I took chances. Therefore, when you find a person of immoral habits, it is someone who has lost all proportions of decency and health and doesn't care. Such a person is a social danger. Speak. You know? Let's keep going. Sensible people do not give themselves away for nothing. But sick and diseased people... Oh, wait, hold on a second. Anyway, so sensible people do not give themselves away for nothing, but sick people and diseased people, like a drowning man, catch at a straw. Okay? Never be seen with those people in your community. Never be seen with a person of bad character. You'll be roped in, and even though your character is good, you'll also suffer because of your association with that person. And this is so true. Like I said, I used to associate with a psychopath, and in that association, you know, my character was getting worse. You know, my character was getting worse, and this is like, again, like my issue is the issue is it comes back to this honesty and dishonesty. You know, dishonor and dishonorable. You know, the Askari that I know, sometimes the Askari, they will pose as respectable people. So that's something that you have to realize, that sometimes you're going to see people who are going to say things that are going to sound like that they are serious, or that they are about, but you have to look at it. It's like qualities of a moral order are measured by deeds. You know, you have to look at what another person produces. You know, what another person contributes. And when you look into those things, you're going to find that the Askari often seldom have anything worthwhile. You know, the book I just rapped about, right, is worthwhile. Okay? Is worthwhile. That's qualities of moral order measured by deeds. You pick up one of my books and you say to yourself, oh, wow, whoa. You understand? You say this person produced something for the race. You know, you're not going to say that about many other people, let alone a Sky. You're not going to say that. You know, you're not going to say that. But let's keep going. If you have to keep company with the opposite sex, let your companionship be consistent and steady with one person. Okay, let's just disregard this. I'm joking. No, I'm just joking. But somebody agreed to that. Somebody got caught and said, yeah, I heard you. Yeah, somebody was there like, yeah. Oh. No, for real though. Like, companionship with one person is brilliant. You know, is wonderful. The thing is this, like, real talk. I don't know how many times, like, if you live with another person, you realize that companionship is pretty damn important. Companionship, but it has to be a holistic companionship. You have to, if you're going to commit to somebody, you have to love what they do. Like, they have to love what you do for them, and you have to love what they do for you. And if that is not, like, if there's not a mutual love of the give and take, then, like, you done messed up. Okay, you done messed up. So yeah, but that's really complicated to get into. Again, you know, you look into the Book of Power. I do have an essay on that. I do have an essay on Nobiko, you know, know thyself, be thyself, complete thyself, and what it means to know thyself. I think I actually read it on YouTube. I don't know if I gave it the reading justice it deserves, but as although I did try, it was really difficult. I was outside recording it, you know, so it was a little difficult to do that. But yeah, this is yeah, you know, you like again, this is important. I would, again, I mean, I know you're saying, why are you always recommending your books? Well, because I wrote on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't write on the subject, I wouldn't recommend it. But if I write on the subject, I mean, like, I don't know what else to recommend. These are my thoughts. You want my thoughts? I'm giving you my thoughts, and I wrote them down for you. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, let's keep going. Don't run around always with different people of the opposite sex. This does not mean that you must not associate socially with all people of your class. It means if your name is to be linked up in the community as directly interested socially, let it be that one person, but don't run around with several. Okay? And he's just talking about, again, good character. And again, as a leader, he's not saying, hey, this is what everybody should do. You know, if you're not trying to be a leader of the people, if you're not trying to, you know, whatever, which is a lot of people, and obviously it's scary, but I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying, if you're not trying to be a leader, which is, you know, it's fine. Look, there are leaders and there are followers. Okay, a follower is worth as much as a leader, if not more. Okay, well, not more, but still, a follower is worth as much, is very worthwhile. A leader without any followers, it's useless. Okay, it's not a leader. Like somebody who's quote unquote leading without any followers is just taking a walk. They're not a leader. So the follower makes the leader. So no one is saying, hey, look, you know, as a follower, like if you're a follower, that's wonderful. That's excellent. Garvey is talking about the leaders though. You know, so, and that's something that we also have to understand, that it's, you don't impose your moral standards on your followers necessarily. Okay, you, except for with regards to Ma'at, sure, but you don't have to police your followers and say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good enough, you're not blah, blah, blah. Like, don't worry about it. You police your behavior. I know police is not the right term to use, right? But you look into your own behavior, your own character. All right, you be the Uncobia. Don't sweat if other people around you, you know, if there's a guy around you and he's like, oh yeah, you know, hey, who's next, you know? Or a woman, she's like, hey, I want anybody ready for me? You know, I'm ready for anything, right? You don't sweat her. What are you worried about her for? You find your companion. You live your life. When you go to bed by yourself or with one person. That's it. That's all it comes down to. If somebody else is going to bed and sleeping around in different houses, what are you sweating them for? What's that gonna do? That's their life. You live your life and you deliver this Pan-African nation. Okay, you help deliver this Pan-African nation. Don't worry if you read the Book of Power and you get other. I mean, sure, you want other people to read it, but you first read it, then you get other people to read it. Okay. Don't worry about what the other person is doing. Sometimes people go through stages in life. People go through phases in life. Okay? It's your time to go through the phase of being an Uncobia. That's what I'm saying. But let's keep going. As a leader, never flirt or indicate that you are a flirt. Like, that's tough. I'm joking. Alright, but anyway, never try to make love to two people in the same organization where both attend and you are a member at the same time. And he'll explain. A fight will ensue and scandal will spread and you will lose your reputation. If you have to speculate with your love, keep the parties far apart, at least in different communities, but not in the same town. It will leak out and be whispered about and you will be called a bad person. Basically, you know, there's a Ludacris song. It goes... I think it was a Ludacris. I don't know. But there's a song that goes... I think it's Timbaland singing it. Anyway, the guy says, I got... Alright, what's it? It's an appropriate word. But in different area codes. You know, you got women in different area codes. Alright, so people who know the song are like, wait, I didn't say women. But anyway, I got women in different area codes. And yeah, like... I think I heard one person tell me it's not cheating if they have different zip codes. You know? I mean, it's obviously cheating, but the idea being here that it is tough. I mean, sometimes, you know, sometimes I at some points I would go into an event and I would see this woman and she would look so attractive, and then I would look on the other side of the event and there's another woman who looks so attractive, and then I'd be like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what if I go to one woman and she says, nah, next, right? What do I do? I mean, now I'm just seeing everybody saw me, you know, come in here and, you know, go straight for the prettiest woman, you know, now and then I just go to the second prettiest, like, what? Okay. So, you know, sometimes I don't know what to do. Sometimes it's Return of the Mac. Whatever. Anyway. But that's a whole other life. Yeah, I mean, look, as a leader, though, you see, he says as a leader, and this is what I'm saying. As a leader, never flirt or indicate that you're a flirt. This kind of goes towards Umar Johnson, more or less. You know, like most people would say, Umar Johnson, that's what you're doing. And Umar Johnson, like he's almost like a shameless flirt, which is fine. A fight will ensue and scandal, and you'll lose your reputation. One of the first times I heard Umar losing his reputation was along those lines. I mean, obviously he's worked harder to try to get back into it. Kind of, I don't know. It's actually interesting to see what's going on with Umar these days, because it's actually really interesting to see. He's almost behaving like a troll, but like I don't even know. It's a really weird. Like it's weird. Like America is like this year. For those of you in the future, if there is a future, and I'm joking, but anyway, for those of you in the future, let me tell you that this is one of those weird years. Like one of those weird, awkward. You know, we used to say, hindsight is 20/20. I don't know if we're still saying that. Like I don't think we're still saying that in the future, because it's kind of like, what? 2020 was a reference to like your vision being like on the scale of 1 to 20, 20 being perfect. Your vision would be 20/20, which either means 20 out of 20 or 20 in the left eye and 20 in the right eye, which would be perfect vision, as opposed to like some people who have vision where like one eye is deficit to another. But anyway, let's keep going. Most of the deformities in the community are the result of immoral and loose people cutting loose. Sick people never produce good children. This is something that, like, it's like I'm not even sweating. Like Askari, there's this Askari who was attacking me. Another one just had a baby, I think. The thing is this, it's like okay, you just damned your baby. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Like you just damned your baby. It's not even, you're not going to produce good children being a sick individual. And this is Garvey. It's not me. This is Garvey. So, but let's keep going. Disease in man is destructive. It destroys the species and wrecks the mind of man. The first thought of healthy man has of a poor-minded man is that his parents were immoral and stamped their morality on him, which he is to carry through the world by his particular affectation, be it poor mentality or a nervous disability. And this is true. Like there was, like I said, I have the psychopath. The thing that I saw about the psychopath was that like this guy clearly doesn't have a father. You know what I mean? Like there's the way how the psychopath navigates. They could not possibly have a father, and if they do have a father, he's not a good one. Right? He's not a good one. And this is something you could just pick up on from an email. Like from an email, somebody emailing you, you could pick up, yeah, this person clearly does not have a father, or does not have a good father. Like you have to, like, this is the trouble with Askari. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of the issues, and this is why it's really important to understand that we are building a nation to do better by our people, because a lot of our people are suffering from intergenerational impotence, as well as inheriting an Askari legacy. And I'm not going to say, hey, my parents were perfect. I'm not going to say that, although, I love them very much and I love them dearly. I'm not going to say that. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to inherit the legacy of your parents. You can actively recreate yourself. That's what I've done even before I was had this Pan-African nationalism in mind. I actively pursued transforming my own life. I took up any and every opportunity for my own self-elucidation. Like, for instance, you have to know one thing about me. And one thing you should know about me is that by the time I was graduating from high school, I did not know how to write well. I didn't even know how to write well. And it was in college that I actually studied writing personally. But before that, when I arrived in college, I did not know how to write even a good essay. Okay, you have to if you're looking to advance in this world, you have to you have to do it yourself. No one is going to do it for you. No one is going to do it for you. And because no one will do it for you, it will either not be done or you have to do it. And this is the philosophy you have to. This is the idea. This is what is called self-help. Okay, this is what you call self-help. Marcus Garvey comes to America because, on the behest, on the invitation of Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington, some people are going to hear that and be like, he's a mixed guy. Yeah, he is. Like, there's no question. But Booker T. Washington is promoting black self-help. He's saying, black people, self-help. Help yourselves. Okay, now, in his mind, he's saying help ourselves. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not even, like, the main theme is you as black people help yourselves. Okay? Self-help. This is the philosophy. Central. Core. This is what Marcus Garvey found engaging. Important. Help yourselves. And like I said, one of the ways to help yourself is this book of power. I know you're like, wait, you keep coming back to this. Yes, yeah, duh. Look, I know. Hold on a second. Did I switch? Okay, good. I know what the sales look like. Okay, I know whether you got the book or not. I'm telling you, yeah, get the book so that we can talk about self-help. Okay, get the book so we can talk. Just like you see how good Message to the People is. You see how much you can get from. Even just, how many pages did I go so far? 4 pages. Even from 4 pages, you see how much you're getting? What do you think you'll get from 500 pages? All right, let's keep going. Look at that. Hey, how long was that? How long is this recording? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How long is this recording so far? An hour, 4 pages. Come on. Anyway, let's keep going. Immoral and standard immorality. And this is a small book. Understand this. Message to the People is a small book. And 4 pages gives you all this. 4 pages. This deep. What do you think 500 pages from a large book? And by small, I mean it's short. It's a short book. My book is a tall book. 11 inches. This one's like 6 inches. Or okay. All right. Whoever thought something, just stop it. but this is a short book. Okay? Let me actually hurry up because I hear my voice stirring. And let's keep going. Don't be a public drunkard. Don't drink inordinately. You may contract disease by over drinking and water your brain to that of deterioration. Don't take drugs or narcotics as a habit. They will have the same effect. Be temperate in everything you do. Learn self-control. And this is interesting because we tend to identify with drug use for some reason. Like in America, we have been identified with narcotics and so on and so forth. Drug taking, narcotics, inner city, yada, 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 yada. And Garvey's saying don't do that stuff. And he's saying it as a leader. Definitely, generally speaking, you don't really want this. You don't want to encourage this. But particularly as a leader, don't do this. If you remember what happened with regards to Huey Newton, like they drugged him out, and I think he eventually, he actually eventually passed away in. Well, the report is that or the official story, if you will, or the story that most circulates, is regarding him purchasing narcotics and being murdered during like a failed attempt or something. This is, and he bear in mind he was the leadership of one of the larger organizations in America. You understand? Like he was once part of the leadership of one of the more radical and large organizations in America. And he was killed in a drug deal, allegedly. But he was definitely killed. And sometimes if you listen to him, you will see this sort of quote brain deterioration. Now, some would say that it was like they injected him with it, like they forcibly deteriorated his brain. But again, like what's true and what's not true is left to be decided. What's important though is that brain deterioration is a possibility. This is not some fabrication by Garvey, but it is something that he warned about. And the truth is that sometimes the Black Panther Party did engage in well, allegedly. Well, let's say allegedly. It's tough to say, but basically they didn't. It's not known whether they shut down on drug trafficking in their own organization. Let's just say it that way. Now it could be like we all know, COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO would infiltrate and so on and so forth. But that's why you have to make sure that the leadership does not engage in this sort of activity. Like you have to have rules for your leadership. If you do not have rules for your leadership, then this is what happens. And I believe Nkrumah in his pamphlet on engaging in war, particularly to liberate Ghana, he expresses this same mentality of let's stay away from that stuff. But anyway, let's say learn self-control. By self-control, you can conquer every bad habit. You can do so by concentrating on the thought always that the habit is bad and will ruin you. Say to yourself, I shall not be ruined. I shall conquer my bad habit. Say this and repeat it after day until you conquer the habit. Let the habit be your opponent and then fight your opponent and beat it. Never give up until you conquer. If you follow this rule, you will beat down every bad habit. Always to the injury that the bad habit will do you. If you don't want that injury to your health, to your mind and body to bring pain, worry, and unhappiness, then fight it to the death. This is what is called man mastering himself. So, yeah, if you know that there's bad habits out there, just don't engage, don't indulge. Sometimes one of the other bad habits, now let's not even talk about that. Let's keep going. Anything that is not good, rise above it and be its master. Don't be a public nuisance. Don't go out in public untidy or poorly dressed. Always keep a good and clean personality. Now, this is something that's really, I know, I'm telling on myself, right? You guys are like, wait a second, Oni, we ain't never seen you, but we kind of feel like we know you. I mean, now of course, not everybody has never seen me. I'm actually not as private I'm not as successfully private as some people may think I am. Like I said, I used to host meetings. And in those meetings, let's just say I wasn't the best dressed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like we have to focus on, like, the reality is this. This is in white society. Like, my thing is that I don't like white society. So I'm not gonna be, oh my gosh, you're playing, But also, I can't afford them black, them clothes that straight out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? They are not as cheap as they are. Like, they're not cheap in America. Okay, if I want to dress up like, some whatever, right? That's not cheap. So I mean, we talking like $300 for like a shirt. I'm not paying $300 for a shirt. I'm paying $5 for a shirt. And I'm not gonna but it's a Western garb, so I'm not even gonna care about it. Like, I'm not gonna be, oh my gosh, like, my clothes, like, I don't want to be represented as saying, hey, this white boy is my, like, this white boy's fashion is my fashion. It's not my fashion. You know what I mean? But I just can't afford my fashion because I'm a displaced, stolen individual, right? Yeah, my boy's up, so I'm gonna have to try to wrap this up quickly. Always keep a good and clean personality. Always bathe your skin, and this is what I do, obviously, though. Always bathe your skin and do so at least once a day. This is definite. This is a must. If it is not convenient, bathe at least 3 times a week. Again, you want to bathe once a day, at least. A dirty body emits bad odor and causes people to shun you. If you know you are dirty, you lose confidence in yourself. When you approach other people, you are afraid that they are going to find out that they are not clean. It makes you nervous and you lose your balance and sense of proportion. So this is actually pretty interesting. So, I think about this brother. All right, so at some point, how that, all right, we're in the African community. I shower every day, obviously. I shower now every day. This brother was telling me, I mean, like, we were in a group, we were talking, we were chatting, somebody came up with somebody and said, look, I don't even use deodorant. I just use baking soda. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, man, I don't use deodorant, I just use baking soda. Right? And so I'm like, let me give that a try. So I'm like going like weeks, you know, no deodorant, just baking soda, and it works. But until it gets hot, you know what I'm saying? Until it gets hot, you sweating. It works, but you smelling something, but yeah, ain't nobody telling you nothing. Finally, somebody just come by and says, "You're not smelling like too bad. It's just like smell a little like you still got some sort of odor to it." Finally, a brother come by and say, "My dude, man, let's don't worry about bacon. Let's go back to deodorant, man." And you know, for sure, I'm like, yeah, let me my confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking to people. I'm like, is that yeah? Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, that biggest other thing was like this is trouble with misinformation in the black community. There is so much misinformation in the black community. I can tell you another thing. I one time went to this store. I mean, it was like a, I don't know if it was a black store, but the black lady was behind the counter, and she goes, like I'm trying to get some chicken wings. You know, I kind of like chicken wings. All right, I'm trying to get chicken wings, so I go and there's different flavors of chicken wings. Now there's honey, but it's too sweet. I don't want to deal with, you know, like I don't want it, whatever. There's spicy, but I'm trying to get some for my son, so I don't know if it's gonna be too spicy, right? Then there's whiskey or something like that. Whiskey wings, you know, or vodka wings. I don't know what it was. So I go to the lady. She pregnant. The stewardess. She pregnant. So I say, these whiskey wings, like are they good for my son? You know, 'cause I don't want to give my son no alcohol, right? And she's like, no, they cook off, blah 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 blah. But I end up like, nah, I'm not gonna get it. I'll just screw this door, forget it, right? Or maybe I got the honey wings. Who knows, right? I go on the internet. I look it up, right? And I remember this is a pregnant woman saying, yeah, because I asked her, I say, look, you're a pregnant woman. Would you eat these whiskey wings? She goes like, yep, absolutely, right? I go online, I look up this whiskey wing thing. They saying the alcohol does not cook off. Like if you expected the alcohol to cook off, you'd have to cook it for like 8 hours or something. There's no way you're gonna cook off the alcohol. That junk will get you drunk. You understand? So I'm just like, man, the misinformation in the black community is insane. You know? And I mean, yeah, the deodorant thing is harmless, but like legit, I would have had my son like pretty much drinking whiskey, like hard liquor, all because this woman just didn't know like basic science. So it's like again, yeah, that's a little side story. I don't know if you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments if you did. If you don't, you know, I could just keep it the same. Whatever. Let's keep going. When a man is clean in body, appearance, and mind, he feels like a giant and a master. This is my story of my life. He's afraid of nothing. If he lacks these qualities, he cringes, bows, and hides. He is never himself. So again, this right here is the story of my life. I ain't afraid of nothing. Okay, ain't afraid of nothing. You know, because I got a clean body. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I have a clean appearance. I'll admit, you know, since I don't have a clean appearance, I sometimes do cringe and bow. That's not right. You know, I mean, it depends on the situation. Like I know there are superficial people, and I don't really engage with it. Like I don't really care for superficial people. I like substantial people. You see what I'm saying? I like substantive people, and among them, I feel like a giant and a master. You know, superficial people, you know, they're gonna be like, hey, you're not wearing the best designer, and oh my gosh, you know, when's the last time you had your hair, blah blah blah. You know, like those people, like I don't care. Like I'm looking to establish kingdoms, nations, empires. Okay? I don't care if you don't like the fact that my shoes are old. I don't care if you know, some people you engage with. Like I said, you know, people that I used to loan, like I loaned money to somebody. They said they had like 16 pairs of shoes before they lost everything. Anyway, let's keep going. Don't eat like a hog, even in private. A custom or habit will develop on you, and you will do it unconsciously. Observe good manners in eating and drinking when you go among company, of course. If you are invited to dine with friends and you are hungry, eat a little before you get to dinner, so as not to show how hungry you are. If you eat up everything, your host will talk about you when you are gone. Of course. You know how many times I talk about people? Please. Yeah, you know, can I get thirds? Can I get another plate? Can I get another? I'm still talking about this, brother. Alright, let me stop. Alright, he or she and the rest of their friends will talk about your gluttony, and you may never be invited a second time. Show enough. Alright. Be courteous and gentlemanly everywhere. Be kind to and practice respect for all children. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I tell you, I had a psychopath. It was like going after my kids and stuff. It was like, I'm not my child. It's like, the freak? Like, what kind of psychopath does that? But let's keep going. Develop the habit of playing with children and treating them decently. The news will spread. Children will tell their parents, and the parents will get to love you. I do this. I respect children. I mean, that's tough. I'm telling you. I meet some children, man. Some children, like, I know this one kid, and he was like older. He wasn't like a child, but like, shoot. I'm telling you, man, it's hard to respect children, man. Like, I mean, yeah. All right, never abuse a woman in public. This is like facts. Like, never abuse a woman, period. Right? Never abuse a man in public. Or sometimes, you know, whatever. Okay, so hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. All right, give me 2 seconds, family. All right. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go tend to this kid, but just give me 2 seconds. I mean, I'm asking for 2 seconds. Hopefully, he gives me 2. Hopefully, it's not literal. But all right, never abuse a woman in public. Never abuse a man in public. Never make a noise in your home. Never abuse your wife or your husband in public. Never make a fight where you are living or anywhere else in public. So he's like, just don't do this stuff in public. Now, obviously, you know, like, some stuff you don't do in private either. Like, you don't really abuse people in private, but definitely don't do it in public, you say. I mean, the reality is this. Unfortunately, this world is full of abuses. Like, this world is full of abuses. He's saying, as a leader, if you're going to be abusive, don't. And actually, this is pretty interesting. This is actually really interesting because there was, I don't know if I should say it, but there was an accusation. Let's say it's an accusation, although it looks pretty verified. Looks pretty proven. There was an accusation of a particular leader here in the African community. Actually, I might as well say his name because I'm not trying to protect people. But this is what his wife said. His wife, the brother from Straight Black Pride, his wife was saying that he kind of got in her face, and then he also like broke something of hers. That she was like working on. Like, she was working on like furnishing some furniture, or like building up some furniture. He just smashed it, you know, because she wasn't responding to him earlier or quicker. And I think a large part of that relationship had to do with like financial troubles. According to her testimony, she has a whole recording on it. So that's something to look into if you're so interested. Because another brother showed it to me, and of course, you know, this is the kind of stuff that's going on in this world, you know. And I mean, like, I think everybody loses their temper. So he's just saying don't do it in public, and obviously he didn't do this in public. But you also shouldn't do it. Getting in someone's face is like, this happens. I'm not going to say that. The thing that I want you to understand that men and women are different. You know, men and women are very different. Men have this range of emotions, and again, it comes and it also, like I said, money makes things emotional. So, a man who doesn't have the finances, who might not have finances for whatever reason, he may develop contempt. He may be on edge. He may be like sometimes you experience disappointment. You know, sometimes you'd experience disappointment, and you will be triggered. And this is just like a part of the human experience. For men need to, this is something you have to understand. If you want to end domestic abuse, if you want to end like the abuse of men and women, you have to understand that you need to have a nation that allows men to not undergo this emotional range that's being imposed upon them by impoverishment, by our open enemies. Okay? When white people impoverish black people, what they do is they also create within us a harsh. How about this? You go to the book of, you go to the Pro Black Companion. I have the Kemet 2 quotes, right? The Kemet 2 quotes, and what's in those quotes is one of them. Hold on a second, my boys, back with the mess. Okay, so let's go back to that. So yeah, never abuse people. Never make a fight. But of course, like I said, we have to understand that humans, have an emotional range, and truly, you can have a community without abuses if you work towards that community. If you work towards a community where the men and women live in community, as opposed to these isolated pockets of oppression, the emotional range is just so different. And this is what you have to strive for and build for. Oh, and sorry about that long pause. That pause had to deal with, the reality that I had to go and be, like I'm a baba. Your son wakes up, he wants to eat, he wants to, he wants some sort of entertainment. You have to engage them, and this is what is meant by family first. We have to understand that even though this here is what I'm giving you, I also have to give to this little person, notwithstanding. So, obviously I apologize, but, I want you to understand that, there's an obligation to family, and this is what we have to understand. Like in life, we have families, all of us. Some of you are not even listening to like some of you are not listening to this podcast right now because you're doing something with your family, So, that's just something that's going to happen. And that's just something that's just a reality. But let's keep going. If you are angry to the point of fighting, count 10 and move off. If it is your wife, family, relatives, or even friends, take your hat and go for a walk. Inhale the fresh air, look at the sky, landscape, flowers, and stars, and new thoughts will come into your mind. You'll forget your anger, go to your room, lock yourself in, and take a book of poetry from your bookshelf and read the beautiful thoughts of the past. You may even read the Bible, for consolation, read the Proverbs and the Psalms, and you will come back to normal. And interestingly, for the Bible, the Proverbs and Psalms was like they are very parallel with ancient African like literature. So these I think these two books are very parallel with ancient African literature. So, and which makes a lot of sense. If you are during a time where you don't have direct African literature, reading something that's indirectly African, although manipulated and watered down, may be your best bet for, or maybe something that you would strive for on a spiritual sense. The only thing is that today you have that African literature, so it's almost whatever. Like, you don't need the Bible if you have the Book of Power, like that's straight up. Or if you want beautiful poetry, I got you in the Pro Black Compendium. But this is something that's true. Go out for a walk, inhale, like you are go out. Don't. The thing is this, you're going to get, people, you can get angry in this oppression, You can get angry, and that anger can become fighting, so you just want to no. You don't have to fight, just move off. And this is actually something that's realistic regarding, even if you look at it from a collective sense, Now, of course, the black collective is probably not going to be able to relocate, okay? Because, Garvey said, logistically it's impractical. But you, as a member of that black collective, you can, instead of getting angry with white folk, which is something that makes sense, and fighting white folk, which is decent, whatever, you can move off, and then you don't have to deal with white folk ever. Or if you do, you're dealing with them on your land. You understand? And there's a world of difference. There's a world of difference. You're dealing with him with your government. And if your government is righteous as you intend to make it, right, then you're the one walking away with the bag of goods. You understand? You're the one who's not in the losing position, but the winning one. And this is something that's fundamental. It's different. It's different. You understand? It's different. Well, keep going. Never fall in love to the point of losing control of yourself. If you do, you'll become somebody else's slave, and that experience will surely take advantage of you and cause you to lose your best character. Yeah, never fall in love. This is hard for people who like me. I'm just teasing. All right, let's keep going. Never love anybody for companionship unless that person has the majority of the qualities that you like and appreciate. Never love a person more for his or her physical appearance or personality. First, investigate the character, disposition, temperament, behavior. Temperament, you see? Behavior and thought of the person. And when you find in that person, along with good physical appearance, such as you like, all the qualities, or as many of them as possible, that would tend to satisfy you and make you happy throughout a lifetime, then love that person. But never love anyone better than yourself, because you are responsible to God for yourself. Only love God better than yourself. Ah, shoot, I shouldn't have said the G word. Oh, gosh. All right. You're responsible to a man for yourself. Only love a man better than yourself. So, yeah, so it's actually interesting. I didn't know what this meant for a second. He says, love yourself, love a man more than you love other people. Okay? Love a man more than you love other people. And good physical appearance is very important. You have to maintain your physical appearance. Maintain your physical appearance. Particularly if you're looking to, for relationships, maintain your physical appearance. But also investigate the character of other people. Again, this is just one paragraph, and this is one paragraph. It's a great paragraph. Okay, it's a great paragraph. I got an essay on this, essentially, like temperament, disposition, character, behavior. I have an essay on this, so I read it already on the pro-black perspective. But yeah, definitely investigate the temperament, because even unfortunately within this, like, even my temperament is, like, it can be erratic. It's not, but it can be under, like, if you provoke somebody, you see what I'm saying? Under provocation, even my temperament could be loose. And I mean, I want to work on that, obviously. But I mean, I think most people have, you have to have a range. Now, this only, like I said, this will only happen in the event of, like, this happened for me in the event of, I like I said, if people owe me money, you know what I'm saying? You owe me money. I'm just like, wait a second, I'm tired of this, nah, you frustrated me. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, money is an emotional thing. But again, like I was speaking earlier about the gentleman in Straight Black Pride. Gentleman, I guess we can use loosely, but he like, his temperament might have been related to, like, financial distress, and this is something that is under, like women might hear this and be like, whoa, no, you gotta have good temperament all the time, but like men who are candid, sometimes you want to listen to, like, sometimes men speak about their emotions, their inner physiology. They speak about their inner physiology because they're trying to let you know that no one's perfect. And unfortunately, people do things against their better interest, against their better judgment. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Okay. I was making sure this wasn't muted. I was like, can you imagine? Anyway, investigate the character disposition. Yeah, like temperamental people, like again, because humans, like, I tell some people that humans are animals, okay? Because humans are animals, because humans are flawed, you build community to minimize those flaws. But in the situation where the community exacerbates those flaws, where the community makes men not contribute to the economy, not contribute to their homes, financial security. When a man is not doing that, right, it weighs on him. It weighs on him deeply, because he, as a man, does not feel as useful. And when he's not feeling useful, it's a complicated psychology. Now you're saying, wait, Oni, you speaking from experience? Let's keep going on. No, I'm not saying I'm speaking from experience. But I can understand the range of humans, because like, I investigate the character, position, temperament, behavior, thoughts of everybody, including myself, and what could happen for me. So I don't pretend to be better than other people, I just know what it is that I am and what I can contribute. By the way, my son called me, so I'm going to have to get up again. But let's keep going. Behavior and thought of the person, and when you find that person, along with good physical appearance. This is important, good physical appearance. If you don't like somebody else's physical appearance, don't date them. such as you like. All the qualities, or as many of them as possible, that would tend to. Oh yeah, I already read this. All right, all right. All right, I'm on my way. My boy called me, so I'm just gonna dip out real quick. Okay. Okay, so what happened there? Oh yeah, so my son, I told him whenever he uses the restroom to call me in, so that I could, like if he were to, nah, whatever, who cares? Basically I have to wipe him. All right, let's keep going. Don't believe that anybody loves you honestly in the true sense of the word. Generally, it is something you have or something they can get from you as the reason why they love you or pretend to love you. When that something fails, you generally find that you were never loved, which is always too late. Don't put your absolute divine trust in human love, because man is bad and is susceptible to change. So this is also what's really interesting. Don't believe that anybody loves you honestly. I say this, look, again, like in the book, we talk about who can you trust. The only people you can trust are the Oncobia. Who the Oncobia are, let's say we don't know, or you don't know. Let's say that, right? But you can't trust everybody, unfortunately, and this is what could cause a dissolution of, like, this could cause a disenchantment, the bitterness that we see. This is what it is. The reality is that a lot of black people, a lot of our people, unfortunately, are Askari. Unfortunately, and if you don't know that and you engage in them, I love, babe, I love you, and blah 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 blah. You're so sweet to me, and you realize this person is just abusing you, and this happens back to back to back to back to back. Eventually, you say to yourself, "Why am I committed to these people?" You understand? The issue is not so much. The issue is not the Ascari or Ascari. You understand? I want to introduce, like, Ascari. And the trouble is this too, that you could also, like the person in question, the person who's disenchanted, they can also be Ascari. They can be made into Ascari the same way that you could make an African into an Oncobia. And that creation of the Oncobia comes through with that intelligence. Garvey was saying it earlier. You want to read books to become intelligent. Okay? Let's go back up there. You want to read books to become intelligent. Where is that? Dang, I've actually read a lot today. If you read good books and think how often you'll be immortal. A lot of people do not read. They do not read. So why would you expect them to not be immortal? Okay? And if they are immortal, then no, they're not going to love you. They're not going to love you. If you're looking for love, you should be looking for books. If you're looking for love, you should be looking for books. And you should be looking for people with books. You engage with somebody. Even if you would just say, hey, you know what? I want to give message to the people to somebody. Give them message to the people. Then engage them on that level. Okay? Engage them intimately. You see how I'm engaging you on these chapters? I want you to engage other people on books, literature.
when it comes to my book, the chapters are the speeches are shorter, so you can engage them more. But the point being, you have to engage people if you want to see honestly whether they can love, because they're not really reading. They're just skipping over these things. They just see the words and they don't know the depth of it. They can't relate to you a story behind it. Don't bother. Don't bother. They're not deep enough for you. And if you can't do this, you're not deep enough for them. Alright? Let's keep going. When you love one for the qualities you think that person possesses and that qualities are not fully developed, help that person to develop them for your own happiness. You see? It is better to wait to find the person with the majority of the qualities you like than to rush into loving for a minimum of those qualities. As soon as you get over your passion, you will still be searching for those other qualities, and since that person does not have them, you will seek them elsewhere and break up your happiness. And I mean, this is like the story of divorce. This is the story of divorce. And I know some of you are saying, "Hey, wait, Oni, aren't you divorced?" Like, this is the story. I'll plead the fifth. This is the story of divorce. Sometimes, and I mean, look, it could have been mutual. It could have been, "Hey, you know what, Oni, you do not possess the qualities that I want." And the thing is this: in my relationship, I'll admit, in my relationship, the woman in question, she was a very scholastic type. Okay, hold on a second. I hear my son crying. Hold on a second. And now, of course, I got a beautiful son from it, so I'm not worried about it. Let me mute this for a second. Hold on. All right, sorry about that, family. Like I said, the boy is crying, so you gotta be that available father. Let's keep going. It is better to wait to find the person. Yeah, so it's better to wait, not rush qualities. Oh yeah, what I was saying about his mother. His mother she's still a scholar, a very scholastic individual. What I said before we got married was that she probably would be better off with another scholar. Like a scholar, and by scholar I mean like an academic, like somebody who's into like degrees. Like she's degrees in Black studies and that kind of stuff. So somebody into that
would be more suited. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, so it's like sometimes good people do not make for a good relationship. Because the reality is that you have different tracks, different. Like I'm more into establishing a nation, whereas an astute would be more interested in the study of nations and nation building, and more so, as opposed to like the work. So there's the work and the words, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are different stages. Like I said, there's different stages of the African consciousness, and the reality is that a lot of astutes to this day are respectable, and to this day, like you have. Yeah. So, yeah, as soon as you get over it, yeah. So it's like a lot of, like, for instance, you have Amos Wilson. He's an astute. Okay, a lot of people like him. You have Martin Luther King Jr. He's an activist. A lot of people like him. There's not like they're not Ascari. They're just not the Ancobia. They're not the warriors, if you will. And of course that difference can whatever. But if it's two astute people in a relationship, that's good. Two activists in a relationship, that's good. You understand? It's more so a matter of, particularly if we have our free African civilization, like our free African community. Reality, you have Ancobia leadership. Not everybody's gonna be Ancobia. You're gonna have people who are like, let's just read and study, and that's fine. Let's get degrees. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, yeah, I kind of saw the red flag. I kind of warned about the red flag. She was like, it doesn't matter, I'll love you always. And, hey, I was like, hey, that sounds good to me. But, of course, as soon as your passion is over, you get what I'm saying? And it'll break up the happiness. You'll break up your happiness. So I'm saying from personal experience, yes. Good people, even good people cannot, like, not every good person can form a relationship. Even if you, like, let's say you listen to this podcast and you're like, hey, you know what, Oni, I like this. Then you're like, but I don't know, I'm kind of superficial a little. Like, don't worry about it. There's nobody's going to be as good as me at podcasting, obviously. No, I'm joking. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of great podcasts, and you know that. Because I'm on KWSZ Radio, right? The boss is over there like, hey, wait a second. All right. No, but for real, though. Yeah, even if you, like, don't sweat the minimum of the qualities. Go for the majority. And this is something that this is in general. I realized that since I did say the name of the person who was in this huge organization, I might as well name the psychopath that's stalking me since whatever. Because it's a perfect example of, like, let's say in a male sense. Not a male sense, in a non-intimate sense. Not going for people with the minimum quality. So, as you all know, this dude, his name's Osman Deesis or something. Well, that's what he goes by. And yeah, like, minimum qualities. Like, the only thing I really liked about the dude was that he promoted my books, pretty much. And then he just goes full psychopath. Full psychopath. So, and like him and, the woman he associates with, and of course the whole clique around him. The woman he associates with, her name, you already know, is Ajo or whatever. But yeah, like they just go full psychopath on you for no apparent reason. And this is what it is. It's like, it's better, like, when it comes to this stuff, and this is actually something I need to take into account, because I have this Discord, quite a few people, unsavory characters on it. Well, not really. It's a handful. You kind of, because I kind of talk to there's someone that I speak to, and I tell them that they're kind of too idealistic. They want people with majority of qualities they like, and the reality is that that is the better thing to do. It's not always practical,
but it's the better thing to do, because these people who do not have the minimum qualities, they tend to chase away the people with the majority of qualities, because the people with majority of qualities oftentimes do not want to associate with the people with the minimum qualities. So that's something that, you know, I really think we should we should bear in mind, you know, as we move forward. Because like I said, I get stalked by a psychopath, all because I thought, hey, you know what? Well, actually, it was his lady. His lady was like, hey, I can help you sell books, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, you know, and then because I did that, like, I get a cyber stalker, you know. So it's like you know. And I mean, when I say cyber stalker, I mean this guy like writes me a 4 a.m. email, 4 pages, cursing at me, you know, a bunch of nonsense accusations, and you're just like, what did I like? And this is like after months of not hearing from the dude, just randomly wakes up in the middle of 4 a.m., writes me a long ass email, you know, oh, you ain't blah 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 and blah 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 and your book and blah 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 blah, and I haven't read your books, but you know, blah 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 blah. And you're just like, wow, this is the price, you know, this is the price of engaging with people with the minimum of qualities, you know. And I mean, like I said, I didn't even think I had any like I don't think the guy had any likable qualities, or the woman definitely didn't, obviously, but I mean, the only thing she had was she had a nice dark complexion, so like I like that, like pretty much. But like, you know what I mean? Like it goes back to that, you know. Like I mean, I wasn't interested in her in that way. It was just, you know, like, you understand? But that's a whole other story. I mean, but I want to tell you people. I want to tell you because part of it is intelligence. You know, intelligence is knowing those around you, those engaging you, knowing what can trick you. You know, this person Osman DC, what they did was they promoted Carlos A. Cooks heavy, and because they did that, they looked like they were doing good works. You know, so you can get confused when you see, like, you can get confused. Even I get confused, and I'm saying that's fine. You know, just try not to get confused. And then don't get confused by the same people that confuse other people. You know, I was a part of, like I said, I was a part of this kid. Hold on a second. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so it is best for people not to get married until they are about 30 or 35. By then, they have enough time to see everything and understand everything. Don't try to get too many children. You will find it a burden, and then your love will turn into slavery and unhappiness. And see, that's true. You guys see how I'm disrupting my podcast for this kid. And I told you I have one kid. Imagine if I had a whole bunch. And I mean, I love my kid. My kid, like, kids are wonderful. Kids are beautiful. Kids are amazing. But yeah, they do sometimes become that burden. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, the dissolution of my marriage, I'm not gonna say it was like a part of it had to deal with, you know, us trying to raise a child, you know, in the middle of unhappiness, which is really difficult. But is yeah, best to get married after 30 or 35. I mean, again, this is tough, but you know, understanding and seeing everything. This is more to do with Western domination than like reality. Like in Africa, with you have initiation, you have community support, you have, like what we intend to build in Africa, you know, would be a worthwhile existence, right? In a worthwhile existence, you know, you have time, you are taught, but in like this situation of quote unquote slavery, if you will, yeah, no, it's everything's bad. Like, don't try to get too many. Like, you don't matter how many children you have in Africa if everybody's watching your kids. If only you're watching your kid and you try to go do something like I'm doing, you're recording something or you're making something, you're writing something, it becomes, oh my gosh, dude, like, for real, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Let's keep going. Let's see how much more I got. I'm trying to go a little faster because I know this kid's gonna keep disrupting me, and also I want you to, you know, go about with your, you know, I want you to listen to this. I don't want you to look at it and be like, this is too long. All right, so let's keep going. Never wear clothes if you were sleeping in them. As if you were sleeping in them, okay? So pretty much ironing clothes. To do so, it makes a woman suspicious and it suggests untidiness to men. Never wear a dirty collar or a dirty pair of shoes. Keep your fingernails clean and your teeth clean. So again, like I said, I do this stuff. Let me just double check that this thing is recording. Okay, good. Take salts or purgatives at least twice a week to keep your system clean. It helps to give you clear thoughts and vision, and it keeps your health in a perfect state. A dirty breath is due to a foul stomach. People will shun you if your breath is dirty. You may notice people drawing away from your face, from the faces of other people when they are talking immediately before them. It is because such people have foul breath. It betrays you to the person and to all who are observing. Sometimes by keeping a foul breath, tiny flies have... Alright, so somebody did say that Garvey sometimes didn't seem too serious, you know. I mean, not serious, but like he sometimes probably had like a sense of humor. So this is probably one of those. I think they cited this one as like proof of, you know, okay, come on. Wait a minute. Sometimes by keeping a foul breath, tiny flies hover around your mouth, and everybody knows that your breath is foul. Now, now it's possible. Look, remember that this was a different time period. This was like a different time period. You didn't have the same kind of toothpaste. You didn't have the same kind of, or the universality of the toothpaste. Never got it. And you didn't have the same kind of, you know, mouthwash and all that stuff, or whatever is being used in your household. That necessarily wasn't universally the case among other people, or among people of this generation and this time. Remember, if you read Booker T. Washington, you'll see that a lot of times black people were not, like, if you just were released from slavery, you were not necessarily keeping a clean home. Like, you didn't necessarily even have a bed. You know what I mean? You didn't necessarily sweep the floor. You might have slept on a bed of hay. Like, on a bunch of hay. You might have slept on hay every night. You know, that was the kind of poverty, squalor that was, you know, following emancipation in a sense. That's better than being a slave, sure, but you have to understand that not everything was going, you know, like sure, this is ridiculous today. Somebody has flies hovering around their mouth. That's ridiculous. But once upon a time, it could have been something that wasn't totally out of the ordinary. You know, it wasn't totally out of the ordinary. Like we have beggars now, but once upon a time they were like, you know, like you could just imagine. All right, well, okay, remember, a leader must be honest. You have your character to maintain. Oh, hold on. A leader cannot be in that position because when he is addressing the crowd, they will be visible objects telling the audience how foul his breath is. Remember, a leader must be honest. You have your character to maintain. You can maintain it only by good conduct. Therefore, never try to fool anybody or deceive anybody. Never fabricate nor falsify. If the thought should ever come to you, count the consequence and the risk. It may be your last chance, and it may be your first mistake. Most men suffer from their first mistake, from which they never recover. In working for the UNIA, prefer death to stealing from the UNIA. So this is actually, like I said, back to the sister who was actually killed for misappropriation of UNIA funds. Well, not killed, but not killed for that reason, but, you know, like it was widely understood that she was misappropriating UNIA funds, and she was murdered. And I mean, obviously, cause and effect is two different things. But again, if you're working for the UNIA, you prefer death to stealing. If you steal from the UNIA, hundreds of millions of people will concentrate on you when they find it out. You'll be exposed if you are found out. They will have your picture before them to hate, despise, curse, and to damn. Therefore, play honest with the UNIA and its principles all the time, because you are dealing with the destiny of the race. And he's saying this is the reality. The reality is that if you steal from other people, if you steal from hundreds of millions of people, they will post your image. They will despise you. And if they're despising you, bad things can happen. Do you understand? It's not Garvey saying it's just human nature. You understand? Human nature. It's like during this looting and whatever, like there's something going on in America at the time of me writing this. And basically, the president of the United States goes into a bunker. Why does he go into a bunker? Because, unfortunately, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's happening, and because you don't know what's happening, you know, it would be better for him to hide. You know, for in his like, this is what the government would say in regards to him, that it's better for him to hide. You know, it's not me saying this is just humans. Humans. It's not me. It's humans. They will have a picture before them to hate, curse, and to damn. Play honest. Play honest. Okay. As you will not steal from the UNIA, do not encourage anyone to steal. Do not shield anyone in stealing. Expose him. Life is too short to reform a thief. If he steals once, he will steal again. Don't pardon him when he steals from the UNIA, because we must speed up to go to the end, to get to the end. You know, the reality is this: that like I said, there are scary. There are, like I said, the psychopath. Like you can't reform the psychopath. Like a guy who's like he didn't stop there, but he didn't stop at the email. He didn't stop. Like he's just a psychopath, and you can't reform a psychopath. And unfortunately, my trouble with the psychopath, I'm going to tell you, is that he already showed bad character before, but I gave him a second chance. You understand? I gave him a second chance. Actually, let's read the next one. To waste time to correct a thief is to hold up the program of the organization. Get him out of the way and march along. This is what it's not just thieves, Ascari. This is what I'm doing, right? Like in the Discord, for instance, I have this scar, and it's like, look, you're wasting time correcting Ascari. Get them out of the way and march along. The mission is the establishment of Pan-African nations. It's not your ego. It's not your pockets. It's not your psychopathy. That's not the mission. My mission on this earth is not you. If you're a Ascari, it's not you. It is to hold up the program of the organization. To hold up the program of the literature, the books. To hold up the program of the nation. We are building a nation. The goal is the building of a nation. It's not your ego. It's not you. If you're not about the nation, get out of the way. And if you cannot get out of the way, I'll get you out of the way. And march along. Before you steal from the UNIA, beg the UNIA. Ask for help from the UNIA, but never steal. This was going to be hard for a lot of you. No, I'm joking. But let's be serious. Never make love to another man's wife. There's always bound to be trouble. It creates scandal, which you will never be able to stop. It will ultimately ruin your reputation. Leave another man's wife alone. A woman should do the same. Leave another woman's husband alone. There has never been a case where doing such a thing has ever ended without a scandal. David was punished for it, and he nearly lost the kingdom of God. Well, this is okay to say the G word here, because who the freak is David? But again, this is some white boy stuff, like David. Come on. All right, but anyway, yeah, that's it. Character. I shouldn't really bring up my the drama of this. Look, I can show you guys maybe another day. Like this psychopath writes this 4-page email. I don't even want to show it because I'm just like, this is disgraceful. This is disgraceful. But this is life. We have to engage or indulge in this idea of what is good character and what good character means. Okay. What good character means, and this is why it's important to read books. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson 7. I don't know why it went so long, but it did. Hopefully you forgive me, and hopefully you enjoy it. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't, okay. What can I do? I enjoyed spending time with you. I enjoyed you listening, and thank you so much for being there. Thank you for the support, and Shami Amotep. Thank you.